four-time All-Pro who has been hampered this year by knee injuries, and Will Levis, joins the Chiefs for a fifth-round pick. Here's D-Hop's numbers with the Titans. 8 total touchdowns. This year, only 1. Nick, your reaction to the new addition?
Well, listen, my reaction is, this is why Brett Veach is the best GM in football, and this is why the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Because while the rest of the league can overpay for guys of a similar caliber, and while NFL media can talk about Cooper Kupp can be had for the low price of a second-round pick, and he'll throw in his multiple ankle surgeries to go along with it. And Cooper Kupp's a great player who, unfortunately, you know what I mean, his body has betrayed him in a serious way the last few years. The Chiefs say, nah, we'll give you a fifth. Well, let's be honest, it'll be a fourth because the condition is make the Super Bowl, and we're going to do that for a guy who will just seamlessly fit into the role Rashee Rice was doing. You guys know I don't like older receivers, and I certainly don't like expensive.
31, right?
Exactly.
31 he's 32.
He's 32, and he's 32. He's the same draft class as Travis Kelce, but he's going to be making no money. It's a dozen game plus the Super Bowl run, so call it a 15-game commitment, and we know exactly what DeAndre is going to be doing. And it is because they don't panic and because they address a need without mortgaging the future that they can have the youngest defense in football also be the best defense in football. And listen, Brew, the Chiefs have a pretty good thing going, which is every year they scan the landscape and they say, hey, is there a wide receiver out there that is with a terrible organization with no quarterback? Would you like to come here for pennies on the dollar? And you know what we'll throw in? You get to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl and break a Super Bowl record. And 2 years ago, they scanned the landscape and said, Kadarius Toney, come on down. And he did, and he has the record for longest punt return in Super Bowl history and scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And last year, they scanned the landscape and they said, old friend McCole Hardman, are you wallowing away with the New York Jets? Why don't you come on down? And he did, and in the Super Bowl, he scored a touchdown and has the record for the only overtime touchdown in Super Bowl history. So this year, it'll be DeAndre Hopkins, who will, as a cherry on top of a Hall of Fame career, will get to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, win a championship, and the Chiefs will give up the 124th pick of the draft for the pleasure of it. That's what it is.
Well, look, Brett Veach is great, obviously, but you left out a few names. The defense obviously is great. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
That's the thing. And DeAndre Hopkins obviously is not what he used to be, but when you put him in that offense, he's going to be productive. He's still, I think, better than Juju. And Juju, a couple weeks ago, had 8 catches for 130 yards.
And Juju's hurt now. Yep.
Yeah, so I think he will be productive. He will not be Rashee Rice.
No.
Rashee Rice was playing at a Pro Bowl level, if not higher, and leading the yards or right up there in yards after the catches. And that's not D-Hop.
No, I meant he just was going to play that role, the slot receiver.
Right, but he won't be taking that chip and taking it 30 extra yards, but he will be effective. And, yeah, they got better. They got better. I don't think a three-peat's guaranteed. You got to play the games, but they got better, and that's why I want to speak to my team.
Wow.
The Ravens. Don't stand pat.
Oh.
You just saw the Chiefs made a power move. Now you need to make a power move. This I don't even think would qualify as a power move, but I'm going to throw out Jadeveon Clowney. Go get him. He's wallowing in Carolina right now. They should be sending everybody out. Jadeveon was good for the Ravens last year, helped their pass rush, had 9.5 sacks. Go get him. They still get to the quarterback pretty well, but they'd be better with him. And maybe if you could, I don't know if you can get a defensive back.
I've got one for you. Do you have a name? Because I've got one.
I don't have a name.
No, listen, I think for the right price, listen, I'm in a charitable mood. The Ravens need the help. It's fine.
I don't know if it's serious.
No, I'm being dead serious. Because it's a guy I'd like the Chiefs to go after because Jalen Watson just broke his ankle. You know, that was the injury this weekend for the Chiefs, their number 2 corner. Marshawn Lattimore. Who's excellent in New Orleans, and their cap situation is in shambles. And so I think he might be available for a price richer than the Chiefs would be willing to pay, but Baltimore might pay it.
But
so yeah,
that's the thing, though. Real talk. Like, if you're the Ravens and obviously you're having a good year, that's the team you got to beat. They just got better in the area that you're most challenged in, which is your pass defense.
Yeah.
They got better throwing the football with
That's a good
D-Hop.
take, bro.
So go do something. If Mahomes, I don't know if he'll have this type of year again, and you got to go ahead and try to win it now while he's not playing at his ultimate level. We'll see if he does with D-Hop.
Do you think the Chiefs are done making moves? It's really, like you said, one big wide receiver.
I think that I think that they might look for a corner. The defense has been great, but the corner position got thin when they when they traded Snead. McDuffie, I think, is in the discussion to be the best corner in football. Pat Surtain's in that discussion. I'm not saying it's Sauce is still in that discussion, but he's in the mix. But Jalen Watson was very good, and if you were, I don't know if people how locked in to the end of the Niners game was, once he went out, they immediately attacked Najee Johnson, a 7th-round pick from 3 years ago. That's who Cowing made the big catch on. And so I think that's on the board because that could be a actual need for them. But as far as what this allows, by the time the games start mattering, I believe the Chiefs are going to be trotting out the following skill position guys. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be the quarterback. Pacheco will be back. Kareem Hunt will still be there, Hunt's playing great. Kelsey will be at that point back to being the most valuable weapon in football because it will be playoff Travis Kelsey. And I think the wide receiving group at that point is going to be Hollywood, Xavier, and DeAndre Hopkins in the slot. That's a formidable bunch. And so, because I think Hollywood is out until late December, but the games don't count for the Chiefs till January. And so I think they can, this fits. Like, this fits as far as what it needs to be without him having to be, he can be 45, 50 yards a game and very valuable.
It could be like OBJ with the Rams a couple years ago.
Different stylistically, not as explosive.
Made a great impact.
Yes.
MVP odds. Lamar still in the driver's seat, followed by Mahomes, Josh, and Jared Goff. Statistically, Mahomes' season has been not good. QB wins, of course, #1, but everything else far below what we were expecting going into this year. All right, do you expect D-Hop to help Mahomes, Brew, snap out of this, what you referred to in the meeting as a funk? You're really applying the funk label to.
Well, he's in a funk, there's no doubt. D-Hop or not, I fully expect Mahomes to come out of this because he's the GOAT. I mean, seriously, like, he's the best we've ever seen, not the GOAT, but the best we've ever seen. I do not expect him in his prime to keep playing like this. I don't. So, yeah, I do expect it again with Hopkins or not. I don't think if he does come out of it, D-Hop won't be the reason. I think he can help, of course, because he's a good receiver. But here's why I say he's not the reason. This is on Mahomes. Because when Rashee Rice, who, as we said, was having a great year, was one of the top receivers in the league, Mahomes was still in the funk, right? Against Cincinnati, which is a bad defense, Mahomes threw 2 interceptions and had an 80 passer rating. That's with Rashee Rice. So those first 3 games that Rice played, Mahomes had 3 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Yep.
Which is that's better than the 1 touchdown, 4 picks he's had in the last 3 games, but that's still not Mahomesian. So this is on Mahomes. This is not going to be on D-Hop, anybody like that. And it's not like last year where it wasn't really Mahomes. It was the guys dropping passes where they led the league in drops. This year they got 5 drops. Only 5 teams have fewer drops.
They haven't been dropping the ball.
So this is more on Mahomes, regardless of who the receivers are. So I expect him to come out of it, but not necessarily because of Hopkins.
All right. Before I answer, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is out of nowhere, so I apologize. Why do you think no team's ever three-peated? Because I have my own theories, but, like, does anything jump to mind? Like, because I would argue
injuries, just off the top of my head.
Injuries, sure, and that's applying to the Chiefs.
One part bad luck.
Complacency.
No, I think there is like a disease of more, and it's hard enough to repeat.
Yep.
In the NFL, nobody had repeated in 20 years like that, and so there's that. So even Patrick Mahomes, who I think is the best football player ever, I think they're, particularly after last season, when it went as poorly as it could imagine, I think he was playing worse last year than he's playing this year.
Really?
I know the numbers
He's
don't
made
back
big
that up.
plays,
When you win anyway, you're on the road, your team's record's not that good, you have that hard path, you win anyway. There is, no matter how steely-eyed you are, a natural feeling of, am I going to have the laser focus I always do? I always did. And what I think backs that up is, as bad as his numbers are, you know what are still?